What's up? What's up? This is Mr. Delk, Mr. Earl Delk. I am your psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. Today I'm coming with you with the first episode from Psychonomics 357. Today we're going to be talking about depression. As we all know, depression has exacerbated since this COVID-19 issue has been among us. People have been isolated. People have lost their jobs. People can't see their family and their loved ones. So it's been a very stressful time, not only on every individual, but nations as a whole. Back in January 2020, the World Health Organization declared the outbreak of a new corona disease, COVID-19, to be a public health emergency and an international concern. You see, the WHO, what they call it, indicated that the proliferation of COVID-19 has an extraordinary chance of extending into numerous regions and becoming a threat throughout the world. In March 2020, the WHO declared COVID-19 to be categorized as a worldwide pandemic. According to the World Health Organization in 2020, a recent survey suggested that the COVID-19 pandemic drastically reduced or prohibited essential psychiatric support in 92% of countries globally. Now imagine that. The COVID-19 stopped people who were receiving mental health provisions, who were going to their doctor, who was getting prescriptions for their medication. It stopped that by 92%. So the growth of what they call telehealth has now become so important. Nations spend very little on mental health, and healthy nations can only be judged by how they take care of their people. Okay, before COVID-19, nations only dispersed about 2.5% on mental health, and they continue to have a difficult time meeting the demands for our nation's vulnerable people. You see, mourning, quarantine, the reduction of money support, and anxiety all are causing hidden psychiatric issues to arise. A multitude of individuals are fighting alcohol and drug abuse during this crisis right now. It has exacerbated. The use of drugs, the use of alcohol has skyrocketed since COVID-19. Now, if this pandemic continues, we will be faced with significant pressures to help our mental health systems that have experienced this neglect for a long time. The longer this virus goes on, as long as we're dealing with this, the more mental health provisions that we are going to need. And this is no joke. Studies have indicated that African Americans, Black people, are probably, without to say, the most distressed people in America. Okay, Black people have been the most disadvantaged people on earth. It's no wonder why the rates of depression are extremely high in the Black community. So what is depression? Okay, and I'm talking about clinical depression. I'm not talking about you being sad because your girlfriend left you, or you lost some money in a crap game or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about clinical depression, where you have signs and symptoms that meet a criteria out of a book called the DSM-5. Depression is not you're having a bad hair day. No, your lace front didn't come in and you feel some type of way. That's not depression. All right, your lace front will get there. All right, you went to the ATM and it said negative whatever, and you ain't got no money. Then that could make a person depressed, but that's not the type of depression I'm talking about. Okay, so let's say the DSM-5 diagnostic manual has certain criteria you have to meet. For major depressive disorder, it can be categorized as mild, moderate, and severe. There are many classifications, but for our purpose, we'll just talk about those three. All right. This information right here is exclusively for the average person, the lay person, my people, the people I talk to every day. Okay. So first of all, in order to be diagnosed with clinical depression, or what they call major depressive disorder, MDD, one has to have 5 of the following symptoms, and they must be present during the same 2 weeks. Remember, you must have these 5 symptoms, and they must be present for 2 weeks continuously. And they cause a change from previous functioning, and at least one of the symptoms must be depressed mood or loss of interest or pleasure. Okay, so let me break it down. First symptom of major depression, clinical depression. You must have a depressed mood most of the day, nearly every day, with feelings of sadness, emptiness, and hopelessness. You may be tearful, you may be irritable, and you might have an irritable mood. Number 2, significant weight loss or weight gain. A change in more than about 5% of body weight in a month, or an increase or decrease in appetite nearly every day within that month. 4, insomnia or hypersomnia. Insomnia, the inability to sleep. Hypersomnia is sleeping too long, nearly every day. So insomnia or hypersomnia nearly every day, meaning you can't fall asleep, you can't stay asleep, you toss and turn all night, and you're restless, and you feel fatigued in the morning. You sleep too much, you're in the bed all day, you're unable to get anything done because you just don't feel like it. And number 5, because there's more, but you have to have 5 of these in order to be diagnosed with clinical depression. What they call psychomotor agitation or retardation. This means that people see you moving slow, and you're often agitated, you're restless. People can actually see your movements and your thoughts, and the way you carry yourself and your thinking is slow. It's retardation, which means you're not able to function as fast as you usually function. You're not moving in a normal way. Your movements are slow. Number 6, fatigue or loss of energy nearly every day. 7, you have a feeling of worthlessness, helplessness, or an excessive or inappropriate guilt, which may be delusional nearly every day, and it's not merely a self-reproach or guilt about being sick. You just feel guilty about everything, like everything is your fault, or you're the cause of everything that's going on around you. Number 8, you have a decreased or diminished ability to think or concentrate. You're indecisive nearly every day, either noticed by yourself or others, meaning you can't make judgments. You're slow to make judgments, and you have a decreased ability to think and concentrate. Okay? You have recurrent thoughts of death, not just fear of dying, but recurrent suicidal thoughts without a specific plan, or you have attempted the suicide, maybe by cutting yourself or banging your head, but really without a plan or a specific plan. Now, these symptoms must not be contributed to physiological effects of a substance, which means you can't be depressed because you've been smoking crack, or you've been on meth for a whole week, and you've been up all week, and now you feel down. No, it can't be contributed to a drug. It can't be contributed to alcohol use. It can't be contributed to marijuana use, okay? Or any other medical condition, okay? Being depressed because of medical conditions is somewhat normal, and it has to last a little bit longer or has to have certain other symptoms for you to be diagnosed. Now, these symptoms cannot be explained or related to other serious mental illnesses, such as schizophrenia, delusional disorders, and other psychotic disorders. There could never have been a manic episode or a hypomanic episode associated with depression. So, what if you have 5 of these symptoms? What do you do? Or you know someone who has 5 of these symptoms. What do? Got to get some help. It is my recommendation, that you visit your primary doctor or find a therapist that can help you formulate the diagnosis. And from there, if you are diagnosed, you can be treated either by counseling, therapy, or even medication. The gold standard is to have medication, antidepressant, and therapy on a continuous basis until you get to the point where you're recovering. And then after you're recovering, you should continue the medication and the therapy as prescribed by your doctor and your counselor. You do not have to go in this alone. Seek some help. The sooner, the better. There's a stigma in our community about depression, but get some professional help. All right. This has been the first episode. Stay tuned. Hit the like button. I will be bringing you more information about mental health as we go along. It was a pleasure talking to you today. Stay up and be easy.